Here's a term that you're probably hearing more and more often on the web these days: native social media videos. And if you're too embarrassed to ask what it means for fear of appearing to be behind the times, native social media videos are uploaded, embedded directly onto platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or Twitter as their primary means of exposure, as opposed to a separate website. YouTube turns 10 years old this year, but celebrations may be tempered by the threat that native videos represent to YouTube's dominance. Because when you're scrolling and those videos start playing automatically, people are watching. On Facebook alone, native social media videos are viewed 8 billion times a day. For news producers in search of those elusive eyeballs, native videos are a huge opportunity not to be missed. But there's an art to these videos that some news outlets, Al Jazeera's AJ+, BuzzFeed, and now this, may have mastered, while other legacy media outlets play catch-up. Short form and text on screen feature prominently in the native world. But does the quest for instant gratification affect the quality of the journalism? The Listening Post's Paolo Ganino now on native social videos, how form can dictate content, and what this new genre says about the way we consume news.
If this was a video on social media, it would have 7 seconds to grab your attention. They're produced to catch your eye, hitting you with flashy graphics or a provocative line, and to do it quickly. This isn't conventional TV output that's been thrown onto social media. It's an entirely new media genre, one that has its own rules, its own style, and lives in a different place.
People like watching video, whether it's to be entertained, whether it's, again, to watch the news. Video has just always been the most entertaining format in terms of content. The web has become very social, it's become very mobile. So what it's really done is allow these publishers to adapt to what's happening when it comes to how people experience the web. It's made video come closer to your fingertips.
And it's very entertaining and it's easy to digest. And it's also easy to ignore. So if you don't like it, you can just move on to the next thing. Some companies are having such success with video because their audiences are people that want to ingest things quickly, that want to be able to scroll through a feed of video. And I'll end up watching like 10 or 15 videos in 5 minutes. And I'll be like, wow, I had no idea. I was gonna stay for one, you know, and I watched 20.
Online viewers expect and demand a different kind of content. They want something that speaks to them, that treats them with respect, that doesn't preach to them. And if you don't speak to the audience, if you don't present the news to them in a way that's accessible and a way that they understand it, then you'll never be successful.
To drive an important social responsibility message, using a national platform to reach the masses.
Video on the web has always been popular, and for the past 10 years, YouTube has been the destination of choice for those looking for something to watch. But a couple of years ago, Facebook and Twitter decided to put their spin on web video. They wanted a bigger piece of YouTube's market, and what Facebook did started a revolution.
Sharing anything that makes you think, or laugh, or cry.
The company went on a marketing push. It approached big news outlets, BBC, BuzzFeed, Al Jazeera, pitching Facebook as the go-to platform for news videos. BuzzFeed, Now This, and AJ+ took the idea and ran with it. According to analytics company Tubular Labs, those outlets now average between 300 and 500 million views per month, not on their own sites, on Facebook.
Facebook is not a broadcasting platform. For a lot of people, or for almost everyone, Facebook is very much a personal medium. You're talking to your friends there. You're watching stuff that your friends shared, or you're sharing stuff that you want your friends to watch. It's a very personal medium, and so you have to create content that works in that kind of way.
We went to Mexico to report on the families of those who have had relatives go missing. Now that comes off the back of a conversation started by Mexicans with a hashtag Ya me cansé on Twitter, which meant I am tired. And that was kind of an SOS signal. And BBC Trending's point is, yeah, we report on the conversation, we listen to them. We went to Mexico to talk about the kind of things that they're doing.
Hunting for mass graves, trying to find their loved ones, but they're also part of a remarkable network using Facebook and other social media.
And that in return gets rewarded by not only the Mexican audience who pick up on it and share it, but also the fact that has been trending means that all around the world social media is quite primed and tuned into that subject.
The stories that have really pushed our viewing figures up, like the refugee coverage, the huge refugee story that we were able to handle in a very different way to mainstream broadcasters. We weren't covering the big figures, the big political stories of the day. We were in Hungary with 2 teams that were meeting individual refugees, that were meeting locals who were helping refugees, and they were the really powerful emotional stories that our audience was really engaged with.
Another benefit for news producers? The comments. Many media outlets have dropped their comment sections, either to prevent abuse or to save the money it costs to moderate those comments, to keep them clean. Now, they leave that to social networks, investing instead in engagement teams that constantly scan people's posts and reactions. The idea for news outlets is to identify patterns in social discourse, to tailor their content accordingly in order to capitalize on social trends and then monetize.
The audience is very influential. That's not to say that the audience has never been influential in TV, even on the news side. The audience has always had some level of control over what's being programmed to them. What's changed with the web is both the notion of control and a notion of immediacy. Television is a passive medium, right? You're leaning back on your couch and you're watching something, whether it's news, movie, TV show, whatever you want to watch, very lean back. The web is not, social's not, mobile's not, it's lean forward, you're interacting, you're constantly doing something, you're more active on it. And the content has to reflect that.
But at the same time, as journalists, we shouldn't be following the audience always, we should be challenging and leading the audience at times as well. So it's about having a dynamic relationship and no different in a sense to all the history of journalism.
The viewing figures for native social videos are on the surface impressive, but who is really watching what, for how long, and what constitutes a video view? According to Facebook, if you don't scroll past a video or stop it within 3 seconds, the assumption is you've watched it. Even for a medium that fits the need for instant gratification, that's not a long time.
And that necessity for a quick hit leaves publishers in a hurry, forcing new production techniques that reflect on the journalism itself.
Graphs about global warming are not interesting and people are not going to click on them. But an animated Vine about global warming is interesting, and it comes with a little bit of information in that caption, and a lot of people will see that. There is that clickability factor, and that will always be there, but there's also the factor of Black Lives Matter or feminism becoming something that people inherently want to share because it is clickable now. And that is stuff that's really benefiting people and giving people a voice in a way that they don't have outside of the internet.
If you look at Black Lives Matter and police brutality in America, we are one of the few journalistic outlets that is continuously covering this, that is keeping on this story and owning it as our own. It's something that mainstream broadcasters have looked at once in a while when the story explodes into the mainstream. But it's something that maybe some people would define as activism. We define it as reporting the stories that are untold elsewhere.
And reporting those stories in a different way for a different audience. The bite-sized videos, eye-catching graphics, and rapid-fire visuals have engaged a new kind of news consumer, disaffected with the mainstream media, yet looking for news. However, their numbers are nowhere near what the stats would have you believe. You could be counted as a viewer, when in fact all you really are is a scroller, passing the story by.